I believe we are live now. Very impressive. Hi, y'all. My first Facebook Live thing. Thank all y'all for having me, and pleased to start off this wonderful Magick bonfire night. The first poem I'm going to do is called The Line Cook Blues, though my friends tend to refer to it as breakfast, for reasons that will become almost immediately apparent. All right.
Okay, hold
Are we all right over there?
on. I can't see.
Okay. It says live, so I think I'm all right. Yeah, we'll just assume and go for it. All right. Here I come talking to myself as I cook breakfast. These graceful motions of efficiency unfold themselves even better as my muscles begin to remember the love of rhythm. And who are we while spinning spatulas? Who are we in the middle of conversation, of complication? Who are we when we give in to frustration, or elation, or self-emancipation, or craziness, insanity? And who are we when we are finally able to scream? You paint yourself yellow. You paint yourself into something to remind you of the sun. But what of the moon, I say? Shouldn't it all be in balance while we still have a chance? So you throw down a challenge to rock it harder this time. So I throw down my battles and rock it harder this time. Could we take it higher? And if we could, would we? Could we breathe fire? And if we could, would we? Could we slam it even higher? And because we can, should we? Could we breathe fire? Could we light back up the stars? Could we spin it into cascades of water, tumbling sunlight? So, all the lips that move in the world, in one instant, toward each other to kiss, tongues insistent, each with differing histories mixed with a little particle of mystery recalling the first touch ever. And how close are each of these on the timeline of love to the loss that at whatever number on the clock always comes. How close are we, love? When will you leave, love? How close are we, love? Please tell me we are far and help me to believe you. I would not deceive you. Could I help it? Always believe you, cannot help it. So what deceptions are we hiding in the junk drawers of our psyches? Those are the extra scissors and the paper clips, waiting to stab our mental fingers while we're looking for a pen. Please, come again, love. Give me one more chance to blend, love. Would you take me then and send me, love? Would you take my wholeness and rend me, love? Would you take my mental intestines? And do you really love me, love? Do you really? Are you picking up what I have been putting down for all humanity assembled, cumulatively in still frames from my memory? Have I affected anything at all with all these calls I have dialed into darkness? And into light? I come stumbling, fumbling for my sunglasses. This is much too much to bear, I say. I can't afford to care, I say. I can't have it be this way, or I will surely fall. But tearing leaves from profusion on my way, I say, who are we to see this? When we can't even appreciate it, when we're so wholly blind to it because we are busy living lost in it. It's like a shutter that snaps in the mind snapshots of existence randomly imprinted on tissue, somehow achieving sentience. We are created out of carbon and water and oxygen and the alley just off Lake Street and the man we met with a makeshift mouth harp. See, this could always be the start of something. This could always be the masterpiece. But to exist only in our own judgment is the hardest thing. We are all built with a longing to believe, to perceive, to eat, to sleep, to wrap our hands around, to let go, to really know, to flow. But even so, we struggle with half-thought wonderings, always bumbling when the light peeks in. Try to just hang with it. Till you get the hang of it. Till you hear the slang, that's the game of it. Someday, you will handle it. Just stand strong. This is a long time to wander, so find yourself a friend and make it into the greatest thing. Tonight is the night. We're gonna go. Throw the backpacks on the bike rack and floor it. Watch the countryside slide by silently through open windows. Can't you see? It is all right. There is way too much light, but only when you agree to see it. So just believe me, love. I won't leave you, love. If it please you, love. If it please you. Numero uno y dos. The second one I'm going to do is called Jennifer Beals and the Nature of Poetry. Rather pretentiously. It's generally just known as Jennifer Beals. I like to spend long nights at home alone with the love of my life, Jennifer Beals. You know, flash dance, off-the-shoulder sweatshirts, that bit with the water. Whew. But it's really how her mouth moves. Syllables like blood on silk. The real dance of language is only one in love can move to it. Immaculate lips. Unconstitutional hips, the trace of a smile on a face with too much grace for reality, such that my stomach aches, my heart breaks, and the room evaporates. Jen, these men are dark creatures, slamming me against the van door, wanting more and more from me. They wouldn't know what to do with a lady like you. Hell, they can barely handle a girl like me, and the words they speak squeak familiarly, like a door I've been through before. And in my spare time, I like to be a slam poet, spin words in the same beat we're all used to, trying to let some truth through, even though it's tangled up in music. Maybe today, I'll find the courage to play it straight, let my beatbox costume drop and really say something. Jen, these women just want to fuck me, passing notes in class. Do I give good head? Am I good in bed? Will I pull down their undies by the dumpsters? Will I make them wet? But just to come is not enough when what we lack is love. And the words flying from the stage used to save me, used to be in real time, meaning bleeding down the page to the lowest parts of me, lips parted in anticipation, stomach tumbling, confronted with full-on longing, stumbling towards something worth chasing. Like this woman, who can make love to a concrete wall, who can replace the faces of all my lovers, so it doesn't hurt so much. Someone I can never touch, a lie that sings gorgeously inside me. Makes me remember what I've been looking for. Makes me want more than this. Makes wanting a purpose in itself. Love and ideal and violet and immaculate. Jennifer, I could hold your smile and pause forever, but it's how you move that moves me. It is this aching for your energy, unscripted, freed of medium that inspires me. You are art, because art is trying to come closer. Knowing this cannot really be reality, but to paint it pretty like this, casts the grit of living in sharp relief. Relieves the weight of it just a bit, so we can keep on carrying it. I rejoice that nothing is static. I know that even in the worst of it, there are flashlight bursts of epiphany, a turn of words that holds real meaning, that reminds us to try again, to paint it in the dust of skin, to pull something from our tangled muscles and always fail to quite make it this is that failure. So there's something more to try for. This is through the darkness, so we can find the light. At night, the idea of you holds me, helps me remember what I must forget. Reminds me that every moment there are a million things that haven't happened yet. Excellent. Yes, so those were both by me, painter, Jes. And this next one, however, is one of my dad's favorite poems that he pointed out to me when I was younger, and has gotten me through a lot of difficult mental times, shall we say. And it's a bit about that. It's, in my opinion, sort of about a bad trip, pretty much, but a good trip, much like life. It's called La Nuit, Blanche. I had seen as dawn was breaking, and I staggered to my rest. Tara Devi softly shaking from the cart road to the crest. I had seen the spurs of Jacko heave and quiver, swell and sink. Was it earthquake or tobacco? Day of doom or night of drink? In the full, fresh, fragrant morning, I observed the camel crawl, laws of gravitation scoring on the ceiling and the wall, and then I watched a fender walking, and I heard gray leeches sing, and a red-hot monkey talking did not seem the proper thing. Then a creature, skinned and crimson, ran about the floor and cried. And they said I had the gins on, and they dosed me with bromide, and they locked me in my bedroom, me and one wee blood-red mouse. Though I said, to give my headroom, you had best unroof the house. But my words were all unheeded, though I told the grave MD that the treatment really needed was a dip in open sea that was lapping just below me, smooth as silver, white as snow. And it took 3 men to throw me when I found I could not go. Half the night, I watched the heavens fizz like 81 champagne, fly to 6s into 7s, wheel and thunder back again. And when all was peace and order, save one planet nailed askew, much I wept because my warder would not let me set it true. After frenzied hours of waiting, when the earth and skies were dumb, pealed an awful voice dictating an interminable sum, changing to a tangled story. What she said, you said, I said. To the moon arose in glory, and I found her in my head. Then a face came, blind and weeping, and it couldn't wipe its eyes, and it muttered I was keeping back the moonlight from the skies, so I patted it for pity, but it whistled shrill with wrath. And a huge black devil city poured its peoples on my path. So I fled, with steps uncertain, on a 1,000-year-long race. But the bellying of the curtain kept me always in one place, while a tumult rose and maddened to the roar of earth on fire, ere it ebbed and shrank and saddened to a whisper, tense as wire. In intolerable stillness rose one little star, and it chuckled at my illness, and it mocked me from afar, and its brethren came and eyed me, called the universe to aid, till I lay with naught to hide me, 'neath the scorn of all things made. Dun and saffron, robed and splendid, came the solemn pitying day, and I knew my pains were ended, and I turned and tried to pray, but my speech was shattered wholly, and I wept as children weep, till the dawn wind softly, slowly, brought the burning eyelids sleep. Oh, I love that poem. Hi, Dad. Love ya. Wish you could see it.
Val says hello and Gillian says hello. They're both pleased you're here.
Ah, I am pleased that you are here. Thank you. All right. So, and for my last number, I'm going to do a poem called 5. That's, well, you'll find out what it's about in it. The number 5 is printed on me as indelibly as heartbreak, as the scar on my cheek, as my given name. No matter how many times I change it, they still say, "Is that short for Jessica?" I don't need this shit. Change the Muzak station. My eyes are already burning from the truth in every bad love song. And she is still in town somewhere, saying something, just this moment. My muscles can feel the distance between her body and mine, tiny tens of miles, every cell aching to come closer, to do something crazy. She comes to me as she laughs somewhere, crisp as a photograph, unspeakably lovely, and I will never know if that's just what she's doing at this very moment, if this really is a picture from some shared spirit. I will never know. But I can't say I'd be surprised, because she shows up in front of my house just as I'm stepping out, having had no idea of my schedule or address, and says, "Hey, I knew I'd run into you." And I knew too. And the universe is laughing at us, unable to pull our souls apart, minds and bodies racked from the force of it, and hearts. Well, her parents rented her a gray hybrid car, and after one viewing, I am seeing them all over town. Smooth, continuous hood and windshield begging for my back, splashed up against it like water, bruises on my spine from the windshield wipers, and I am seeing them all over town. My breath catching, my treacherous ribs spilling all my insides out onto the sidewalk, pain and passion smashing through me like an actual wrecking ball every single time. Maybe I caved right in, at least 5 times a day. Why couldn't it have been some older model car? This thing is new, sleek, popular, with no distinguishing features to help me identify, to testify to a life on the road, to that one collision that reshapes a body, guts all over the asphalt, glinting in the sirens, slowly growing colder. Every time I wake, I lose you again. Consciousness tearing through me like a serrated blade, your presence fading in that first moment when I realized you were on the whole other coast and I was only dreaming. Every time I wake like this, I would crawl to you willingly, run to you and beg forgiveness, and that is exactly the problem. In your presence, I cast this spell upon myself. I forget everything else. Thank you guys. I appreciate you having me, and I will,
There's a donation.
yeah, and I'll hand it over to the next folks. Bye-bye now.